He actually caught HIV, like having like a lot of women.
Oh yeah, let's just go down the rabbit hole of all of his then.
You won't believe what just happened in court with Diddy. What started as a normal day quickly spiraled into chaos when shocking documents allegedly linking him to an HIV test surfaced. Witnesses say he looked shaken, on the verge of tears, repeating, "They set me up." But that's just the beginning. Leaked party footage, wild allegations, and claims of secret recordings could change everything we thought we knew about him. From courtroom drama to viral audio and hidden scandals, Diddy's empire may be on the edge, and the truth is darker than anyone imagined. Watch closely, because this story is far from over. You won't believe how wild things just got. What started out as an ordinary day in court for Diddy suddenly spiraled into something nobody saw coming. Reports are flying that his own attorney may have let slip a bombshell, a document that allegedly links Diddy's name to an HIV test.
He doesn't, he everything he does with everyone else, it's for money, but he's just with you. He's with you, right? And there's no money exchange, so that makes it special. Not at all. Not at all.
Hold on, Jack. Doesn't it make sense though?
No, it really doesn't make sense, especially when you see your so-called straight boyfriend now doing gay parties and saying that's only for money.
Wow.
And letting men go down on him for extra, but it's only for money.
Allegedly.
Okay.
His attorney told the world basically, like, yes, Diddy is a swinger. He can't just go out into a swinging party. He may have to hire people to come into his world to do those swingish things.
A swingers party with as many different people as he had at those parties. And understand this, these sessions that he's talking about swinging, there were multiple men. It wasn't just one-on-one action. And I don't know why they're all lying about it. Like, they're all lying through their caps. And anybody who doesn't want to see that, well, then that's just on them.
And when those allegations came to light, Diddy wasn't carrying himself like the untouchable mogul we're used to seeing. Witnesses say he looked shaken, repeating, "They dragged me. They set me up." Some even described him as being on the edge of breaking down, fighting back tears. According to Jaguar Wright, this reaction isn't about the pressure of the courtroom. It's about him realizing that the truth he's tried to bury might finally be catching up with him.
Prince Harry was at a Diddy party. You got some of the same Universal executives. Diddy made it cool for, I'm just gonna say it like this, man, whites to hang out with the hood dudes. Dude from the hood, he made it cool and safe for them to hang out with the white executives. They used them for that. They used them enough, whereas that now you got white executives doing Diddy-like parties. Remember the dude from, what's that, Frantic? The clothing line, the sports line? They was mad because they didn't get invites to his party because he was doing white parties, doing parties like Diddy. Now I ain't talking about the off party part of it, but I'm just saying, he was doing those parties and everybody, there was rappers, or I think Stephen A. Smith said something about he was upset that he didn't get no invite. So it was those parties that everybody wanted to be at. Y'all heard the same thing that I heard. When they raided his house, y'all saw the same thing I saw. They took computers, tapes. You think wasn't nothing on those tapes, y'all? You think they didn't log those tapes? Why did they, hold up. Yo, I just caught a jewel. They used the tape that Cassie sent them. That Cassie had. They used the tape that Cassie had that they showed to the jurors. Why do you think they didn't use the tape that they got from Diddy house? Because that would have them had to log that in. It would have been public record. And at one given time, when it's a public record out of this trial, you could go see it. You could go get those tapes, copies of those tapes, because it's public record. It would have been public record, bro. It's a dirty game out here, man. It's a real dirty game. They are protecting somebody. Why did Damian Wim, the first prosecutor, he trying to put it off on Trump?
The courtroom drama surrounding Diddy has taken a turn nobody saw coming. What began as a routine day in court suddenly erupted into chaos after claims surfaced that his attorney accidentally revealed a shocking document, an alleged HIV report bearing Diddy's name. From that moment, the confident image he's always carried seemed to crack. Witnesses described him as shaken, repeating, "They dragged me. They set me up," while others said he looked on the verge of tears. Jaguar Wright even suggested his reaction wasn't just about the court pressure, but about the reality that the truth he's tried to bury might finally be catching up to him. For months, Diddy has been brushing off lawsuits, rumors, and whispers about his lifestyle, dismissing them as nothing more than noise. But this situation is different. If those health records are authentic, it shifts the conversation from gossip to something deeply serious, something that can't be ignored. And just as the streets began buzzing with speculation, things got even messier. An old video from Meek Mill's birthday party allegedly leaked online, and according to some, it didn't look like an innocent celebration. Instead, people claimed the footage carried a darker energy, almost like an initiation into the twisted world many believe Diddy has carefully hidden from the public eye.
No, what happened was that Diddy had rented a mansion out for Meek Mill's birthday party, and he had rented it for like $25,000. I remember we rented one of Cher's mansion out. You know what I'm saying? And that's the day he had fired his cook, but that's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? It was me, Wolf, Mace, Ock. Was Ock staying there? No, it was just me, Wolf, Mace, Puff, and there was one other person staying in the mansion. But anyway, long story short is that they came recently. This happened a long time ago, but they recently just made a statement that they found loads of cocaine. I wonder what they did with the cocaine, because they didn't turn it over to the police. They said they found loads of cocaine, razor blades. They said that the sheets were bloody, nasty. They found a whole lot of used condoms. And it was a Diddy party, giving in Meek Mill's honor for his birthday. I was like, yo, wow. They said it was disgusting the way that they left the place. So I know they got hit with another bill on top of that $25,000 and the different deposits they had to put down for cleanup and all this other stuff. It was crazy. It was one of the property managers, they had rented out a mansion. I heard about that whole story.
The backstory only makes things wilder. Diddy reportedly hosted Meek's so-called birthday bash in Las Vegas at the lavish Parisian Palace, $25,000 a night, the same weekend as Mayweather's big fight. The guest list was stacked with A-list names, but what allegedly went on inside that mansion has fueled endless controversy. According to leaked details, guests wore matching outfits, lingerie-clad dancers moved around like chess pieces, and one woman was said to be used as a human sushi platter. By the end of the night, insiders claimed the mansion looked destroyed. Broken bottles, blood-stained sheets, used condoms, and substances scattered everywhere. Then came the viral audio said to be from that night. We can't play it here due to policy, but the internet claims it caught Diddy and Meek in a compromising situation. Meek fired back immediately, calling the tape fake and insisting it was AI generated to tarnish him, even posting, "My voice is so powerful as a black man from the ghetto, they want it gone. I'm under control of no human." Strong words, but not everyone was convinced. Rumors spread that the audio may have been recorded by one of Diddy's bodyguards, while others pointed at Meek's ex, Nicki Minaj. Jaguar Wright even alleged Nicki paid for the leak. And later, Nicki herself half-joked on a podcast that Meek thrives on controversy and doesn't mind being dragged into the mess. Coincidence or not, many weren't buying the denials, especially after insiders like Gandil claimed there were bloodstained sheets left behind at the infamous party.
What's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
And this is where everything ties back together. For years, insiders like Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal have claimed that Diddy had a habit of documenting these wild parties himself. The allegation is that cameras were always rolling, and that the footage wasn't just for memories, but for leverage. According to whispers, he used those recordings as blackmail, a way to keep people in check if they ever tried to cross him. One of the most chilling claims even suggests that his mansion was rigged with more than 250 hidden recorders, quietly capturing everything that happened behind closed doors.
A lot of people probably believe that, they just want to know, and the government want to know what things those people were doing on those tapes and who was doing shit on those tapes. Because I heard they found like 250 cameras or something like that.
That's what they say. They said they found a lot of cameras.
Right.
There's a lot of rumors about him recording some of these parties, and he's using a lot of this stuff for blackmail, like a lot of celebrities, even as far as politicians. I think even Little Rod said that Diddy had every room taped and bugged.
Right. Well, in his affidavit or his deposition that he gave to the courts, he said every room was bugged, and that he did have tapes and information on a lot of different celebrities and people in the music business, people that were in politicians, and like I said, in other platforms, people that was in the ministry. Allegedly.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, if the feds got their hands on these tapes, you could very well see like a domino effect of shit coming down on everybody.
It depends on what's on the tapes. You know what I'm saying?
After the trial verdict, Gann claims the feds scrambled to cover everything up. He revisits the infamous tapes, suggesting that Diddy might only be in legal trouble because authorities are after them. So, what could be on these recordings? Think about it. High-profile guests like Prince Harry reportedly attended Diddy's parties, alongside top Universal executives. Diddy was known for making it cool and safe for hood dudes to mix with elite industry figures, and some insiders believe that access was exploited. Stories surfaced that certain executives were even upset about missing invites, jealous of the exclusivity of these legendary events. When authorities raided Diddy's mansion, they reportedly seized computers and tapes. Surely, there was something on them. Gann claims a key piece of the puzzle was a tape from Cassie, which was shown to jurors, while tapes directly from Diddy's house were allegedly avoided to prevent them from becoming public record. The implication is chilling. What's on those tapes could be explosive, but much of it may never see the light of day because of how carefully it was handled. It's a dirty game out there, and Gann claims it's all about protecting someone. The first prosecutor, Damon Wim, allegedly tried to pass the case off, retiring right after the Diddy raid and the seizure of the tapes, convenient timing that fueled speculation he wanted to avoid political fallout with Trump's incoming administration. Reports suggest over 256 cameras were discovered in Diddy's mansion, raising questions about how much was captured and why. Now, two major storms are colliding. On one side, an alleged HIV report dragging Diddy through court. On the other, leaked tapes and viral audio tying Meek Mill and others to what some call Diddy's empire of chaos. Industry insiders and fans alike wonder, was Diddy really targeted, or are these long-buried secrets finally surfacing? Jaguar Wright claims Diddy was diagnosed with HIV and allegedly knew about it but kept it private, yet continued his lifestyle undeterred. Wright also revealed she knows at least 20 men living with HIV and hinted she may disclose their identities in an upcoming show. Beyond that, she challenged the public narrative around Diddy and Jay-Z's friendship, insisting their bond went far beyond business. Wright maintains that she predicted these events and asserts her actions have already cost Diddy at least $125 million over the past 2 months, a point she takes pride in. Despite criticism and accusations of trying to bring down black billionaires, she argues that her insights were accurate all along and that she simply seeks acknowledgement that others were wrong to dismiss her warnings. Wright didn't stop there. She criticized the media, pointing out that a compromised national network like NBC failed a 37-year-old autistic woman, leaving her vulnerable during an interview with no support or protection, a setting she says could devastate anyone on the spectrum. Wright argued that NBC should be sanctioned and held accountable for their negligence, comparing their actions to past coverage of R. Kelly while giving Jay-Z what she calls fluffball interviews. She even questioned where influential voices like Gayle were, hinting at favoritism and hidden agendas within the industry. But Wright's critique went beyond the media. She leveled serious claims at Diddy himself, calling him a harmful influence on the music industry for over 30 years. She alleged that powerful figures like Clive Davis and Lucian Grange shielded him, allowing his control and reach to expand unchecked. In her words, this oppressive system has harmed our culture and society for far too long, and it's time to stop enabling people like Diddy. She also added that much of what Diddy accomplished and learned in the industry came directly from Clive Davis, underscoring how mentorship and protection helped him rise to power. Jaguar Wright has repeatedly painted Clive Davis as a ruthless figure, insisting that Diddy learned much of his power and tactics directly from him. Wright claims Davis played a role in Whitney Houston's untimely death, suggesting it was tied to her desire to leave his record label after realizing she was missing substantial earnings. The controversy deepened when Davis reportedly continued to party in the same hotel shortly after Whitney passed. Adding to the mystery, Whitney allegedly gave a note to Brandy the night before her death, a note that Wright insists holds critical insight into what happened. Following Whitney's passing, Bobby Brown's sister raised concerns that Whitney's death was no accident and that Bobby Christina was in danger. Wright described Whitney's body as showing clear signs of foul play, at least 10 gashes across her chest, marks on her legs, damaged fingernails, and facial injuries consistent with a violent struggle. She claims the same pattern threatened Bobby Christina, whose boyfriend allegedly met with Clive Davis, suggesting a sinister plan to control or harm those tied to Whitney's estate. Wright also notes that Diddy's upbringing was complicated, with one parent reportedly acting as a federal informant, shaping his life in profound ways. Even interviews with figures like Dapper Dan hint at the influence and environment that shaped Diddy's rise. They even ran into Dapper Dan in Harlem, who shared some revealing context about Diddy's past. Dan said he grew up around Diddy's family and insisted that the chaos surrounding Diddy didn't start with him, it's been part of his life for a long time. He revealed that Diddy's father was a government informant and a problematic figure in the criminal world, while rumors in Harlem hint that the woman Diddy considers his mother is actually his aunt. Things took another turn in February when Diddy made a late-night hospital trip, sparking speculation that it might be related to HIV. Sources reported that he was moved from federal prison to a Brooklyn hospital discreetly, away from the public eye. Officially, the visit was said to be for a lingering knee issue dating back to the 2003 New York City Marathon. According to the New York Post, Diddy underwent non-invasive testing and an MRI, though the Bureau of Prisons declined to comment further. The Bureau of Prisons released only a brief statement, citing privacy, safety, and security, and refusing to comment on Diddy's medical status or conditions of confinement. Insiders, however, claimed his late-night hospital trip was designed to minimize media attention and keep fellow inmates unaware. Still, word got out that he was in pain and receiving treatment. Some skeptics argue it was a move for sympathy, much like his soft, vulnerable demeanor in court. Observers noted Diddy's striking appearance, gray hair, a gray sweater, and a solemn expression, reflecting the realities of confinement, where he couldn't dye his hair or alter his look. Even gestures like tossing heart signs to family or reading a Bible during trial were seen by some as a strategic front, part of a defense plan to keep him composed and distracted under pressure. Meanwhile, reports suggest Diddy may be plotting a comeback in music, though doubts remain. Legally, he was found guilty on 2 of the 5 charges brought against him, leaving his future uncertain and fueling speculation about what comes next. Diddy remains behind bars without bail and could face 3 to 4 years in prison. Despite his legal troubles, his lawyers have insisted that he's determined to return to music. However, insiders aren't convinced. According to Radar Online, one source called his plans totally deluded, noting that no reputable producer or entrepreneur currently wants to associate with him. Another executive echoed the sentiment, saying, "He keeps talking about launching a comeback, but there's no comeback to make." Still, his legal team insists he isn't giving up. In an interview with CBS News, attorney Mark Agnafalo stressed that Diddy is determined to achieve something exceptional once he's released. Jaguar Wright, meanwhile, suggests this could all be part of a larger damage control strategy. By shaping public perception, Diddy may be attempting to mitigate how much harm these scandals ultimately inflict on his empire. Diddy reportedly has a plan to try to derail the chain of evidence and reshape history as it actually happened, a strategy that some say involves re-victimizing those already affected. Jaguar Wright points out the timing of key witnesses, like Audria and Lamisha Fuller, who appeared at very opportune moments. The fallout reached the elites, with figures like Piers Morgan reacting strongly, and incidents like Ariel Mitchell dropping Audria English as a client after a drunken conversation with Tasha K adding fuel to the fire. Wright has publicly stated that she has multiple witnesses ready to testify against the Carters, not Diddy specifically, but the threat alone sent waves through the industry. Even the so-called fake CNN incident, allegedly a simple phone call from lawyer Alex Spiro that undermined the Roc Nation offer, illustrates how carefully orchestrated these moves can be. Wright emphasizes that the breadcrumb trail of information she leaves is crucial. Even when people call her a liar, the evidence she shares allows anyone to verify the truth for themselves, proving that the story is bigger than any one person. Wright also claims that Diddy attempted to destroy evidence that could have implicated him. On the day his house was raided, a critical 24-hour window unfolded before the news broke. Kim Kardashian unfollowed him, an action later connected to her involvement in Diddy's lifestyle. Plans to vacation with his daughters in Los Angeles fell through. Instead, he was reportedly spotted wandering an executive airport in Florida, far from the Star Island property being raided. There are claims he was presumed to be on a flight toward Antigua, over unprotected waters near the Bermuda Triangle, where items were allegedly dumped from the plane. Among the discarded materials were thousands of bottles of baby oil, which insiders now say were merely vehicles for pharmaceuticals. Meanwhile, countless illegal substances and massive digital storage, from VHS tapes to terabytes of streamed content, were reportedly left behind, adding to the growing list of mysteries surrounding Diddy's empire and the raid. Questions linger about what exactly went out on the plane. If someone went to the trouble of loading an aircraft, not with passengers, but with unknown materials, and allegedly dumping them in unprotected waters, it was likely to prevent authorities from recovering or investigating the evidence. The timing adds to the intrigue. Kim Kardashian unfollows Diddy. He was supposed to be in Los Angeles but was already in Florida. And yet the plane departs from LA, passing Florida and heading toward the waters where the materials were allegedly discarded. Despite all this, some items were left behind. Items insiders suggest could have been far more incriminating than what authorities discovered, potentially carrying consequences severe enough to guarantee life without parole. Meanwhile, Diddy is reportedly making frantic calls, trying to clean up, getting rid of pizza boxes, recycling plastics, but the question remains, with a damaged reputation, ongoing legal battles, and an empire under scrutiny, what comes next for him? With his reputation damaged, legal battles ongoing, and only a handful of allies remaining, the question lingers, does Diddy really have a shot at making a comeback? Sound off in the comments and let us know what you think.